Does everybody know what time it is?
Home Impodcast time!
That's right. Binford Tools is proud to present a Home Improvement Podcast. My name is Adam. You all know my co-host, Jordan.
What's up, Adam?
What's up?
How's that club soda treating you?
Hey, club soda, lime, daddy like. No, I don't know what that means.
That's the best way to record.
Yeah, I don't know what that means. Jordan, we're coming off a great week. One of our more iconic episodes to date. I don't remember the episode we covered, but I remember the subtitle, and this is the last time. I vow this is the last time I'll say it. Hey, Spider-Man.
There you go.
That's it. I'm retiring the bit, as they say.
I think perhaps a t-shirt will be made, but we'll see if anyone buys it.
Oh, yeah, I mean, they already have made a bunch of Spider-Man t-shirts. Marvel sells them at, like, Walmart, so...
Oh, they do?
Yeah. It's a big industry. They make a lot of money off those movies.
I didn't realize anyone cared about superheroes.
Yeah, I see a lot of, like, shows and podcasts and movies, like, make money and sell things and are financially viable.
You can make money doing this?
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. Jordan, how's the day?
The day is good. We've got a rare evening recording, so I feel like this is a great way to cap the day and move into the evening. There will be football on tonight, so that's exciting. Yeah. It's overall an exciting time. What about you? What's going on?
Well, I'm excited for the big game tonight. I'll tell you that much. Big game, NFL football, sports talk, new segment. No, Jordan, Billy Joel concert tomorrow at Wrigley. That's on my radar. Birthday gift, long time coming. Finally,
play us a song, the piano man.
You know, the chickens have come to roost, as they say, and I'm excited. He's one of my favorites.
He's going to be tickling those ivories, and it's going to tickle your fancy.
I hope so. Yeah, I hope that my fancy's tickled. It's going to be it's a good venue. I hope it's a nice. The weather agrees,
I was going to say hopefully that works out well.
But I'm fired up for it. Otherwise, NFL fall. And you told me I can't do my fall rant quite yet, so
not yet. We're gonna wait.
Maybe in October I can riff on.
The leaves aren't quite changing yet.
I did pick up a Halloween decoration that I'm looking at right now. Yesterday at Target for $1. So
that's a
I'd
deal.
buy that for $1. No, I think I'm a little early, but I'm excited.
Is it a dancing pumpkin?
No, it's a gravestone with a bat on it. I guess I didn't think about the logistics of it. So, like, is it a gravestone for a bat? I don't know. But there's a bat on it, and it says trick or treat. So
perhaps it's Dracula's gravestone.
Oh, I can't do a Spider-Man and Dracula voice in the same episode. But it might have been an ill-conceived purchase. But
maybe it's a Snape tombstone. I mean, spoiler alert for anybody.
Yeah, did you know that he was good the whole time? Wow, what a twist!
Always.
Robert Galbraith, right? I mean, she's doing things.
Hey, she's got another book coming out in a couple days.
Holy cow! I think she should just go back and tell us more about what the Harry Potter characters were thinking and going through during those books. I don't think there's not enough words in those books. She needs to further explain it.
Your two least favorite things in the world.
I like Harry Potter.
J.K. Rowling talking more about the Wizarding World.
I don't like that.
Doing a revisionist history of it.
Yeah.
And then The Ringer.
Don't even get me started on that. Don't.
You know what I'm going to get you?
Yeah. Don't give me a Ringer sticker or anything for my laptop, because I won't use it.
I'm going to get you a hoodie.
You know how people are burning Nike because they're morons? They
don't like Kaepernick?
They're dumb. I'm going to burn any Ringer merch you send my way. Just kidding.
No, you would welcome it with open arms.
I'd take anything. What did you want to talk about in the beginning? I've already forgotten.
Well, I was going to say, speaking of podcasts that you like to listen to.
I remember now.
I don't know if you heard the
news. Listeners will, of course, know what I'm doing there. That's the serial theme song.
It sure is. You know, I knew we were talking about it, and I was a bit confused when you started making those noises out of your mouth. But yeah, third season trailer is out for that. people might remember the first season. I don't even know if I listened to like the second season after a couple episodes.
I started and I didn't finish. Sorry, Sarah.
So yeah, Sarah Koenig's
it just didn't. It wasn't. It wasn't as good. It just wasn't as good. So I'm not sorry.
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of on the same level as Serial too. I was reading in this article. It has a little bit about what it's going to be about. They had like 340 million downloads.
Those are familiar numbers for me.
Yeah, definitely very close to where we're at.
Well, when we started this podcast, we said we want to do the Serial formula, but for Home Improvement. We want to be, we want to take Serial and kind of, mesh it with Home Improvement and do our thing, and that's kind of what we've done.
Yeah. Instead, I think one of the weird things that's happened is now just people associate me with Tim Allen. So much so, like yesterday I was at a gathering and we did like an icebreaker.
Oh, and why would you be at a gathering? God, I would never voluntarily go to a thing that has an icebreaker. This had to have been through church.
It is, and there's new people. Like we try to break the ice. So the question that
Jordan,
was posed...
how much does a polar bear weigh? Sorry, go ahead.
Anyways, so the question was posed, like, if there was a zombie apocalypse, who would you take with you, fictional or otherwise?
And someone thought you would say Tim Allen?
Somebody jokingly said, one would have to be Tim Allen for me, and I was like, oh no, this is why we should stop the podcast.
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean...
if it's come to that...
What did you say? Let me guess what you would say. A fictional character you'd want to take on an apocalypse?
It could be fictional or real.
Which one did you choose?
The strange thing is the first person who came to mind was The Rock.
You big Rampage fan? Big meets bigger?
I was thinking more of the guy in Skyscraper.
I never saw it. I thought you would say...
Well, I said... Well, so people started saying superheroes.
Dumb.
So I said, you know what? I'm just going to pick Thanos then, based on that, because he's got the Infinity Gauntlet.
This sounds like such a fun evening you had.
It was a very strange start.
Now I know why you were so happy to record the podcast without any notice, because that's how you're spending your other evenings is doing things like that. So this must be a joy.
It was another lovely night. I look forward to it every Wednesday.
So Serial, season 3.
Season 3.
Neither one of us has watched the trailer.
I don't know that you can watch it.
Long.
I think it's audio. I'm not sure if you know this, but Serial's a podcast.
Okay. That Serial. Okay, yeah. Okay.
So can I tell you what it's going to be about?
Yes.
So the first couple seasons, they've really focused on specific stories in the criminal justice system. They're going to be really zooming out to get a bird's eye, 300,000 foot view of the
300,000.
Yeah, they're going really high.
Wow, from space.
But specifically just in Cleveland. So they're going to do every episode is going to be an individual story in the criminal justice system in Cleveland. They're going to unpack that. So
you know what they should start with? The guy from the Browns that got busted for insider trading.
Oh, yeah, Michael something or another.
Mikel. Yeah, gosh, great season of Hard Knocks. I mean, I know we're talking Serial, but wow, that was a good season of Hard Knocks.
Yeah, they're trying to capitalize on like the Cleveland Brown buzz right now, so that's why
I know there's some football fans that listen to this podcast. There have to be. Just if you consider the number of people listening, there has to be a couple. You guys and girls, I hope you enjoyed this season of Hard Knocks, because I thought it was a doozy.
That was a doozy. That is going to be a bonus episode on Patreon.
So. You have a release date for Serial?
September 20th will be the
really
first.
Soon?
Yeah, very
awesome.
soon.
Well, that is exciting. Okay, cool.
So get ready for that. Have that subscribed in your feed. Make sure you subscribe to Home Impodcast as well.
Yeah,
I guess if you're listening to this and you're not subscribed, I don't know how you found us.
People can find it from the website.
They can, but they don't.
Generally don't.
Based on the statistics that I see.
Jordan, Serial, Hard Knocks, Billy Joel, Thanos, these are all fine, okay, decent, somewhat interesting things, but we're a Home Improvement podcast, so I think it's time we talk about Home Improvement.
I think it's time we do that. We're going to talk episode 103, Her Cheatin Mind.
Her Cheatin' Mind.
Yep. This one's written by Ruth Bennett, the first that Ruth has written of 5.
Okay, you answered my question.
Yep, she's going to do 5. Some other work that Ruth has done, Family Ties, Sabrina, the gambit of Sabrina.
You
People
got to bring her in
here.
for this female-centric, dare I say feminist episode.
Say...
No, not really.
Feminist claws are all over this one.
Jill was their commissar.
That was
how many? That was like 2 years ago at this point.
The things that we remember from the previous episodes, we don't remember what actually happens, but we remember
I didn't remember the name of this episode until the IMDb was pulled up, so it's hard.
Well, this one aired on October 3rd, 1995. I don't really have any trivia, title references, plot keywords, all that kind of stuff, but I do have some alternative titles.
Yeah.
And I'd like to hear how many you have.
4.
I have 4 as well.
Okay.
I guess age before beauty, so I should go first, right?
Yeah, Jordan, sure. What are you, 100?
All right. Let's lead off with Book Club Hubbub.
All right, here's mine. Book Snub.
Oh! How about Forgetting Rondell Kittleman?
That's good. I don't have one that's Rondell related.
It didn't even have to make sense. I just had to have Rondell in there.
Yeah, it was good. It was great. Yeah, I got some Rondell stuff later.
Good.
Ace high, Tim low.
Ooh, I got one like that. 7-card dud.
Good one. Man, I should have saved that Tim one for last. That was my best one. Okay. Cheaters never prosper. I don't know. Just, it was there.
I mean, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. This is, I guess, my worst one, but Tim's Tale of Fiction.
Yeah. A Tale of Two Tims. Isn't that an actual Home Improvement title?
It was the best of Tim's. It was the worst of Tim's.
I knew they did something like that. Okay. My last one. This is bad. Christopher Robin Hearts. Yep.
I never would have guessed you would do the Winnie the Pooh reference out of the two of us.
Yeah, well,
what made you think of that?
His name is Christopher.
Well, yeah, but I just can't imagine that. I don't know.
I'll tell you, Jordan. One, human mind is a strange thing. You don't think you care about something, or it's of any interest to you, or you'll ever think about it, and then trying to come up with alternative titles about 10 minutes before an episode starts, and it just kind of pops in.
And bam, a bear full of fluff.
Did you see that movie?
Not yet. There's a baby that keeps me from doing anything like that.
Oh, man. She'll probably like it in a couple of years.
Yeah, can't wait. Can't wait. All right. Let's walk through the episode. What do you say?
Yep.
We've gotten through our icebreaker, so...
Icebreaker. Oh, man. That's so funny. God,
right.
I would hate that. You tolerate things that I just, couldn't.
Oh, man. You just...
Including
you have
me.
You have certain ideas of what you want, and if it doesn't fit in that mold, boy,
not gonna do it. Not gonna do it.
All right. Yeah. Instead, we're going to open on Tool Time.
Yeah.
It's Gadget Corner.
Yeah, getting a lot of Gadget Corner play lately.
Yeah, I mean, well, we know that... gosh, I can't even remember his name. Bud really likes it, so they're going to play it up as much as possible. They even got, new graphics kind of in the background.
Yeah.
A new sign for Gadget Corner, so...
Yep.
I don't know how much they spent on that, but... they're talking...
notice it.
so it really is paying off.
I'm agreeing with you, but, I didn't see it.
That's nice. So what are we talking? We're talking women's products around the home. They bring on June, who apparently has been on the show before, but it's been a very long time, and she's pretty testy and angry about that.
Pause. Jordan, June, her real name is Gretchen German, and you might think that she won't be back, but you'd be wrong, because she's coming back 2 more times.
What?
Yeah, I know, it's weird.
Wow.
She'll be back. I think the next 2 seasons she'll come back. She's going to be coming back in the vasectomy one. That sounds like a fun episode. She has 34 credits to her name. She pops up in things here and there. 2017, she was in an episode of Criminal Minds. She played FBI instructor. She also was in Star Trek Deep Space Nine, something called The Family Tree, a few episodes of Will and Grace, and Modern Family. So she works, here and there over the last couple of decades. But she's an expert, and she has an interesting rapport with Tim, wouldn't you say? Yeah,
it seems like there's maybe a little something under the surface to me.
I'm not here to speculate, but I don't know. There was
I'm talking about his Cheatin Mind.
Oh, yeah, hey, I'll say. You said it, mister.
You said it, mister. Yeah, so June is testy. I think it's been 4 years since she's been on the show.
I was really... I had kind of convinced myself that I had seen her before. I was like, she must have been in the first
very
season.
Familiar.
But she wasn't.
Nope. She's showing off the suck-a-bug.
Yeah.
And it does exactly what it says, basically.
We had one in my house growing up.
Yeah, I've seen them before.
Bugzooka, I think ours was called.
Yeah. That's the one. So I don't know which came first, the suck-a-bug or the Bugzooka.
I don't know, but the thing about the Bugzooka is, if you really think about it, you're like trapping these bugs, and they just kind of suffocate to death, and then they're just sort of stuck. I don't know. It's kind of it's sort of a bummer.
Yeah, I remember my wife telling me a friend used to just capture like cockroaches and stuff and leave them under a cup, and that seemed very cruel to me. Like,
why is there so many cockroaches around?
Well, it's Florida.
What's this guy living in a roach motel?
It's Florida. There's lots of palmetto bugs down here. Yeah. So, but yeah, that's kill them or trap them and get them outside again. I don't know. But
yeah, let's take a hard stance. We don't like torturing bugs or animals.
It doesn't seem right. So, Tim, I guess this suck-a-bug must kill bugs and not trap them because Tim reverses the suck-a-bug on Al's head, and there's a little bit of a smudge there. And
yeah, how would it kill the bugs, though? I mean, like...
It must be the velocity that it's really capturing those things, and it hits the wall, and bam.
If there's, you may notice that we're not really describing this scene in great detail because it kind of sucks.
It's very short, too.
Yeah, it ends with Al having, like, bug residue on his forehead, and that's the last we see of Al, or Tool Time, for that matter, so...
There you go. That's all it is.
All right, I got to pick up my notes here. I've been just kind of riffing. Let me grab my notes here and get into it.
It's about time you do something here.
Yeah, I gotta carry the weight. Jordan, we're heading home for poker night.
Yeah, a much longer scene.
Poker night. The kids want in, and I was thinking, hey, we went to high school at the same time. We both graduated. DHS class of 2008. I was the valedictorian. You were the burnout.
What I remember.
You were the burnout. No. But you must remember the big Texas Hold'em craze.
Oh, man. Everybody. All the time. I remember going over to
Jordan,
Greg.
Not everybody.
Well, yeah. You, of course, were a man who was against all...
hard stances?
We were taking a hard stance on bugs earlier. You took a real hard stance on cards of all kinds.
I think for the first 25 years of my life, I just sort of anything that didn't come real easy to me, or people kind of had a head start in, or I might look stupid doing, wasn't going to do it. Not interested.
It's the same reason you don't like icebreakers, really.
No, they're dumb. I don't like those because they suck. But
I tried to teach you to play euchre several times and got really the cold shoulder.
I wouldn't.
There were many poker tournaments at Greg Pulaski's or somebody else's house, and you were never there, and I was always sad. So
there's a combination of things I didn't like about that, but I don't want to get into that. But yeah, poker was big when we were in high school. I've learned to play poker since then. I don't, vaguely, but. If we're ever together again, Jordan, and I hope we are,
we might not be though.
Let's get out the deck of cards. Let's. You're
gonna play heads up?
I don't know what we're gonna do, but I can shuffle, and I think you'll be surprised. I can do some things. All right, so the Du Bois walk in, Super Bowl crew plus Marty, if I'm not mistaken. So we got Harry, Benny, Al,
minus Mickey Jones.
Marty. Oh, minus Mickey Jones. I forgot. Okay, you're right. That's a bad trade. Mickey for Marty. Give me Mickey 10 times out of 10.
Yeah, what happened there,
if you're talking about Nancy, that's a different story.
Well, yeah. Well, they do bring up Nancy.
Oh, they do. Yeah, okay. So, meanwhile, they're doing poker night. Jill is going out to book club. Tim is kind of dismissive of it. She's getting picked up by someone named Chris. They all kind of assume that this is a woman. Chris comes in, and guess what, Jordan? It's a good guy.
It's a dude.
Oh,
Tim is very surprised and wants to talk in private with his wife. He's got a problem with it right away, but she kind of talks him... I guess she talks him out of it pretty quickly. She says it's not a big deal, whatever.
It's one of those things where, you can tell it's going to be a bigger fight, but there's, five
People.
dudes like in the next room, so like they can't. Neither one of like he can't really push it that far, and like she's able to just kind of be like, "Don't worry about it," and she sort of just gets out unscathed. Guy looks like Pauly Shore.
He does. I thought I recognized this guy. You know, the weird thing is, I don't know if there would have been a bigger fight, except for he is kind of like teased by his friends for the whole poker night, which seems to go on for a very long time.
I'll tell you why there would have been a bigger fight, because later on she's like sitting out in the car with this guy in front of
That
her
would be
house
the
for an
problem.
hour.
That would be the problem.
That's a problem in any scenario. Let me do a quick bio on this guy.
Chris.
So Christopher Robin Hartz. He's played by Joe Erla, Jordan from Pontiac, Michigan. Funnily enough,
Local.
Credits include Sleepers, Deep Impact, Strange Days, the Bodyguard films. Recently appeared in an episode of Blacklist. And Jordan, I'm looking at this guy on IMDb, and he was in 6 episodes of Seinfeld, and I'm thinking like, who is this guy on Seinfeld? I don't recognize this guy. Do you know who he is?
Oh man.
It's pretty hard. I would not have gotten it if.
So when you say it, am I going to know right away?
No.
Is it going to make sense?
I'll tell you his name.
Ahead.
His name is Dugan, and he's like one of Elaine's like snotty kind of coworkers later on when she works for Peterman. Like he's just like one of those dudes, but he's in a bunch of episodes, and they gave him a name.
Dugan.
Dugan.
A good name.
Yeah, pretty good name. But yeah, I was like, man, Dugan. Who is Dugan? But very interesting. Anyways, Chris comes in, they leave, and then the poker night it kind of goes like you would think it would. Like Tim's trying to play poker, and these guys are all just kind of giving him crap.
They're like Harry's like, I wish my wife would go on dates or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, Tim's in a tough position, and he handles it probably better than I would. But Harry also has
you just throw the poker chips.
Well, hey Jordan, I mean, I don't think I don't know if she's leaving with Chris if I'm Tim. I don't know. Just I don't know. You know, let's just say
I think Tim's a good-looking dude.
I'm not saying
real
that.
question,
I would have made a bigger deal about it, I guess is what I'm saying, probably.
Yeah, I guess so. I'm wondering, Tim's a good-looking dude. Marty's wondering if he's a good-looking dude. We get that in here. There's a lot of these kind of like jokes going back and forth.
There's a lot of like separate jokes, yeah.
Yeah, Marty also brings up Ron Dahl, which is, I think, the second time this season that we've had a callback.
Yeah, in the industry, you know what they call this? A Ron Dahlback.
I'm sure they do.
I would love to make it seem like I thought of that just now, but man, I was driving home from the train station the other day.
Don't let people in.
And I was thinking, what am I going to say on this next episode of Home Impodcast? And I was thinking, Ron Dahlback. Put that in my back pocket. Saved it.
I'm glad you're using your time wisely on these train rides.
You know what it is like when you're just sitting there. Ron Dahl is brought up. That guy, he lives on through his memories. He's getting a lot of play. I wish he'd come back. I mean, that'd be great.
I do. It'd be great if he showed up at the book club. Instead, there's more jokes about like how beautiful women end up with ugly guys. They're implying that Chris is ugly. As I said, Marty's wondering if he's ugly because Harry mentions
that Nancy's a knockout.
Benny has some good lines. There's something about like Chris bringing her back home or whatever, and and he says she's real shrewd in regards to Jill, which made me laugh.
Yeah, he's it's a fine Benny scene if you're into that kind of comedy, it's fine. I was too focused on Harry's new haircut.
Oh, yeah,
he's got like a flat top.
It's a buzz cut type. It looks fine. Makes him look younger to me.
I agree. The scene ends with Tim being frustrated.
Yeah, frustrated and denying all these allegations.
That's right.
So later that night, Marty and Tim are sitting around. It turns out that Jill is an hour late, and Marty's trying to like talk him down, say, "Don't worry, I'll be here for you. We were just joking," all that kind of stuff. And then he's like, "Well, I gotta go." As he leaves, Jill comes in, and we do learn. Well, I guess before that, Mark comes down, right?
Yeah,
we get the all-important Mark scene.
Well, it is sort of noteworthy, only for one thing. So Marty leaves, Mark comes down, and like he needs help with his homework, and I think it's the only time I've ever like laughed in earnest at something Mark said, Because Tim's like, I can help with their homework, and he kind of gives this look, and he's like, "Good night, Dad." There's no way he could possibly help him, and I thought, maybe Mark is finally getting some acting chops here.
Yeah.
He made me laugh.
You could buy it.
In an attempt of making me laugh, he succeeded, yeah.
And this is when a star was born.
Yeah, I would say...
Or when stardom happens, actually.
Yeah, this moment was... when you think about nurturing your child in the show business, when stardom happens, this is what you think about.
That's right. So I think the joke is something about pronouns, and Tim says a pronoun is somebody who gets paid for something an amateur noun does. Something like that. So obviously he doesn't know what pronouns are. Jill comes in, actually defines what they are, and sends Mark up to bed. Then she lets slip that she's been in the driveway this whole time with Chris for about an hour. That's
a tremendous problem.
That's a bad look for Jill.
But the problem is that she's like, it's no big deal.
Uh-huh.
But it is a big deal. I mean, that just... I don't care, who the couple is. You could be married 50 years. I think that would still be kind of a problem. I don't know.
Yeah, No, I agree. It seems a bit strange. I don't know. It just doesn't seem...
Just sitting out in the car, just, talking for, I don't know, just, we lost track
the optics of that are never good.
Oh, the optics are terrible. Bad optics. Yeah, Jill shrugs it off, and, there's talk about, why can't I have a male best friend? Heidi's your best friend, or she's one of your good friends, and she's a female, and I don't know. There's some dialogue about that.
I guess her defense is pretty bad too, because we don't ever see Heidi and Tim hanging out.
They're not friends; they're coworkers. Maybe they would say that they're friends, but that doesn't happen. I mean, that does happen in the show, but I think that's later seasons that she's over at his house and stuff.
Yeah, so there's the whole, can men and women have platonic relationships? That's what they're setting up here. Jill says, I wouldn't act like this, and she trusts him and all that kind of stuff. So
sure.
Tim is getting the runaround by his wife, I guess, and he's not feeling great about it, so he wants to go take out the trash later. Mm-hmm. And he's going to talk about it with someone who knows a little bit more than he does on most topics.
Yeah, and that's Wilson W. Wilson, so we're going to go ahead and play a clip here.
Wilson, what are you doing up?
Well, Tim, I couldn't sleep, so I thought I'd come out and squeeze my apples.
It's none of my business, but should you be doing that in private?
No, Tim. I'm squeezing my apples to see if they're ready to make cider.
Oh.
Firm finger indentations on the surface of the fruit tells me that the apple is ripe. You can tell just by touching.
Speaking of touching, do you think it's possible for a man and woman to be friends without it turning physical?
Well, I most certainly do.
Gotta respect your opinion, even though you are outside squeezing your own apples.
You see, many women feel that the most important ingredient in a fulfilled relationship is meaningful conversation. In the words of the French novelist Hélène Lesage, the pleasure of talking is the inextinguishable passion of a woman.
Which is why we call them the opposite sex. We like sex, and they like the opposite.
You see, Tim, for a woman, intellectual stimulation with a man can be the strongest bond of all. That deep connection allows her to think of him as her soulmate.
That sounds like pretty heavy stuff.
Oh, if you're the one who found your soulmate, Tim, it certainly is.
You're telling me a guy can make a woman a soulmate just by talking to her?
Well, it depends on how good the talk is.
Oh, how do I know? Sitting in that Camaro talking there, there could be big fucking racing sitting out there an hour and a half. I would go, how is it? The guys that said, I tell you, one time, I would go,
It'd have to be a hell of a lot better than that.
Wilson's squeezing his apples, Jordan.
Boy, is he.
They get some mileage out of this.
Yeah, aren't you supposed to do that in private, Tim says. Lots of other jokes, as
yes.
you heard.
He's doing it so as to prepare cider, and if I were allowed to talk about the fall, I'd launch into something.
I knew you were going to say that.
Jordan, you love cider.
I do like cider. I like fresh donuts. I like cider. I like fall.
They used to call you Jordan Orchard back in high school because you spent so much of your time at the orchards.
I thought they called me Jordan Granny Smith Apple.
Jordan, yeah, you do love an orchard, and you like going to the orchard, taking a lot of pictures and posting them.
You never came with me, you know? I don't know why.
Well,
I've been waiting for you to bring this up for years because we should probably talk about this.
Yeah, I don't know if I was ever invited. It's not, and don't try to paint me as a guy that doesn't like orchards, because I do.
Did you ever go to Applewood?
No, is that in Mount Pleasant?
No, it's like the Mott Estate in Flint, right by like the planetarium and stuff, and they open it up and they'll do it's really nice. They do a bunch of
that's of course Robert T. Longway Planetarium.
Yeah, absolutely. The one that you didn't believe that I went to every once in a while when I came home.
Oh, I forgot that you did that. Yeah. Well, you spent some time on that campus. Well, orchards are great, Jordan. You love them.
I do.
They have a discussion here. Tim posits the question. Can we be friends with the opposite sex, or can men and women be friends and not have it get physical? Wilson doesn't really his answer.
Advice is very confusing to me.
It's weird. He says that I don't really know. I know what he says, but it doesn't really help Tim. So he says it's possible, but then he also goes on to say that meaningful conversation and intellectual stimulation are the cornerstones of a soulmate, making Tim think that he's not Jill's soulmate. So, in fact, he makes Tim feel worse. That's my understanding.
Yeah, so what I get is basically through the poker night and through this, and through the way that Jill acts in that, long car talk with Chris, things are really just getting worse.
Car talk with Chris, you're live.
Things are getting worse and worse for Tim. It's definitely feeding the wrong fire for Tim. So
feeding the wrong fire. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you want to feed the right fire, not the wrong one.
I always try to feed the right fire, but sometimes, yeah.
Only you
would feed the wrong fire. All right. We are in the car. This is
hockey practice.
I'm not wearing hockey pads. All right. So, Tim picks up Randy from hockey practice.
Are you going to talk a lot about Batman this episode?
I'll get him to talk. Rachel. Probably sounds so bad in headphones.
It's all right.
Use headphones.
It's all right.
Hey, Jordan, you want to know how I got these scars?
Oh, boy. We've opened a can of worms that I'm afraid we can't close.
You do a PM recording session. You're
asking for it.
A little slap happy. All right, so Tim picks up Randy from hockey practice. Tim went to the bookstore. Randy is so surprised by this, he thinks he may have gotten a concussion or just not heard him right. And this is where we find out, we get an idea of what Tim's plans are going to be. Mm-hmm. He's going to infiltrate, or not really infiltrate, I guess he's pretty transparent about it. He's going to join the next book club.
Espionage is going to happen here.
I'd like to see it. That would probably be better.
Yeah.
And he's preparing, somehow he found out the book is Madame Bovary. He didn't get the book, he got it on tape. They played the tape, and
it's a little boring for Tim.
It's boring, but it's also kind of sexual a little bit later on. They do a lot of fast forwarding.
They do. And there's a couple of jokes in this episode where basically they say the audiobook is very inferior to the actual book. So all of you Audible listeners, all those people who got the free trial through Audible, we don't endorse that type of attitude towards audiobooks. I actually don't love
I don't love audiobooks. I can't really ever get into them, unfortunately.
It depends. I've had some that are good, some that are bad. I think that's the problem. You get a narrator who's not very interesting, that can really ruin a book. So
right. Yeah.
You got to be careful with those. But Madame Bovary, Tim has skipped through it and I guess got parts of it. We'll see that later on.
He has more knowledge than you might expect. Madame Bovary is one of those things that I have heard of a lot, but never done much research on. I looked it up. Per Wikipedia, it's the debut novel of French writer Gustave Flaubert, published in 1856. The character lives beyond her means in order to escape the banalities and emptiness of provincial life.
Pretty much what we all do every day.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I suppose you're right. Millennials. I did read later on that this was what British critic James Wood, not to be confused with the actor James Woods, He cites this as being one of the first examples of modern realist narration. So take that for what it's worth. Yeah.
So a seminal novel that kind of changed the game, son.
He didn't say that, but I guess
was later. You didn't read
lines.
You didn't read the whole article, so
yeah, that sounds like something a British critic would say. All right, anyways,
it would be book time.
Homestead, book snub, book club, book hubbub. Jill is hosting.
Rub-a-dub-dub, 3 men in a tub?
Mm-hmm, yeah. Jill is hosting the book club, and because it's French, she made eclairs Chris's favorite. Oh, Chris is kind of smarmy. I didn't like him.
No.
You're not supposed to.
No, you're not supposed to. It's kind of strange. So this is the full book club, we're to assume, and it's... What is it, like 4 women and just him? So you wonder,
what he's angling for.
Yeah. You wonder how he got into the group. That's what he's... It was basically written in the title.
I just don't like when he says, I don't know, just that line really irked me. Like, eclair, are those eclairs? First of all, when you see an eclair, you know it's an eclair. You don't need to ask. It's like, is that a car?
You're going to jump through the screen and punch Chris in the face.
I didn't like him.
Come here, Dugan.
Dugan. They effectively made me not like him, I guess. As much as I want to like a guy from Pontiac. But him saying, those eclairs, my favorite. First of all, I guess I said first of all. Second of all, whose favorite are eclairs?
That's where you draw the line, huh?
Doesn't matter. All right, next page of notes for me.
All right, Tim comes down and he meets the group and he's trying to impress them with his knowledge of pronouns and Earl Grey or something like that.
Oh yeah, he does a lot of
Somebody
stuff.
asked if he wants Earl Grey tea or whatever. If he wants some Earl Grey,
never
and
met
Tim
the
says,
guy.
"I don't." Yeah, never met the guy.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, I
sure.
laughed at that as well.
Earl Grey's been getting a lot of play of late. Didn't Al and his brother fight over that?
Yeah, Earl Grey, and I think we've talked about Madame Bovary before.
Yeah.
So
you're probably right. Yeah.
I think Al as well was involved in that. So
did you so in this book club, did you recognize there's a returning face?
Is it the woman? The
Jeanette Dubois.
Yes, I can remember her.
Back.
What did she play before?
She was on an episode, and we knew she was coming
back.
Oh,
was it
she was on an episode of Tool Time? I think.
Yeah, the women's power type of thing, where they came down and they were doing some stuff.
I am gonna find it because it's important. Okay, Judith Potter on Reach Out and Teach Someone. So he's pulling people out of the audience, I think. Yeah.
Yes.
But she plays an older woman in that, and in this she they made her look intentionally older in that one. And in this one, she just kind of looks like a modern woman. But there's other people in the book club. I mean, I don't know if I want to do their bios necessarily.
You don't have to. That's all right. Judith is there, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, you got. I'll give their names. There's Sharon, there's Carol, there's Jane, and there's Chris Harper. So
yeah, Chris. So Tim blew off his poker game, and he wants to chat about the book. This is very surprising to Jill. She's like, you actually have to read the book to be in the book club, and he starts to talk about a little bit about the synopsis of the book, and I think he gets that directly from the audiobook. But the group is impressed.
It's fun. It's one of those things that always kind of works for me, where someone is speaking. I don't know. I can't think of specific examples, but where someone is speaking just kind of ignorance with regards to a topic, but it's being taken in an analytic kind of philosophical way by a person, and they're like, "Yeah, I never really thought of it that way."
So when he talks about the town handyman.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And they're like, well, from the town handyman's perspective, how interesting. I guess the scene I could think of is one of the Austin Powers movies. Carrie Fisher is Carrie Fisher is playing I would say Dr. Phil type role, and Dr. Evil is saying these things I was in space, and she thinks it's a metaphor. I was cryogenically frozen. I was in space, and she just kind of said, "Yeah, sometimes it feels like that, doesn't it, for parents and kids?" And I don't know. It just kind of reminded me of that. But
those are good movies.
They are good movies. I really, really used to like them. I haven't watched them in a long time, but
oftentimes Andrew and I will say, "Let's watch the first one," and we just never get to it. So someday.
Yeah. Someday soon for a Patreon bonus episode.
Ooh, baby. Yeah. Okay, so Tim, he's trying to show off a little bit. The other girls think he's great. Tim kind of settles in between Jill and Chris. She moves Chris out of the way. He wants to focus on the handyman, like we said. And they start walking through the book, and Tim is kind of, he's dancing his way through it because there's obviously parts he did not pay attention to.
Like, he says, let's skip to chapter 10.
It's like, just let's get over with this book.
Chris is kind of honeying up to Jill on the couch, and Tim inserts himself right in between there, which is a good visual kind of gag.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They start talking about, like, the main love interest.
Rodolphe Tim.
Yes.
Something. Yeah, I don't know.
What do I think of Rodolphe Tim? Yeah. Instead of being Rodolphe, Tim.
Yeah.
There's some good jokes in this scene.
It kind of ends abruptly. Like, he says that the husband is sympathetic because, like, he feels as though he's sympathetic as a husband. And then Chris says the husband is a dullard. Tim says dullard, mallard, something about madam's ovaries. And then that's it. That does it. That's
that would ruin book club, I guess.
If somebody would have said madam's ovaries during your icebreaker, what do you think would have happened?
I think everyone would be confused because I don't know that person would be helpful in the zombie apocalypse.
I'm just trying to draw parallels.
I don't think it's gonna work.
Everyone leaves.
Everyone leaves.
Tim very assertively tells Chris that he'll drive Jill next week. Power move. Respect.
Yeah, real power move. Jill is mad. I wrote mad with like 10 Ds here because you can just see the volcano getting ready to explode. Yeah. And she knows what he was up to. He was checking up on her, and
she gave him no choice.
Yeah, I mean, she was just kind of very dismissive of her husband's feelings, so he had to go about it this way, I guess.
Yeah.
And he wanted to prove that he could be her soulmate. And he says, like, people you can talk to or stuff about people that you talk to about stuff you're passionate about is your soulmates, basically. Is the way he talks about it. She says, by that logic, the tire guy is your soulmate. And he brings up, what's the tire guy's name? I don't know. He gives a name to it. He says, like, keep whoever out of this, which is another good line. Mm-hmm. Tim says, I'm more interested in your mind than your body. And it catches both of them off guard when he says it.
Yeah.
And Jill says, you're an idiot. I want to share my life with you, and all is well. It's basically how that scene goes.
It wraps up nicely, as these episodes are wont to do. Final scene.
Poker night again.
Poker night, but this time with the kids, and Tim's wiped the floor with them because they don't know how to play.
This is how it would be if I played you.
That's what you think. That's why I never wanted to play in high school. Randy, he's learned something from his dad this episode. He has some homework with regards
he
to
struts around
A Tale of Two Cities. He's got the tape. He puts it in the boombox, and this is a joke that people under the age of 25 probably wouldn't understand. But Jill has recorded over the tape. So, it starts listening. He starts listening. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. Jill's voice comes over, and she says, like, you better pick up the book, and if you got this from your dad, you're in real trouble. Roll credits, fade to black. Christopher Robin Hearts. It's a weird episode. I don't know. It's kind of strange. Jordan,
it is a bit strange. A nickel for your thoughts, Adam.
Yes.
We gotta break your habit.
Stunting is a habit.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it is kind of a weird episode. It's very uneven. There's some things I really like. The jokes and the initial poker scene, I think, are good, where they're kind of ribbing.
There are some episodes where there's not a lot of jokes. I would say this was a very
jam-packed,
especially jokey episode. Yeah,
for sure. They're written like every 3 lines, it seems like, but some of them land pretty well.
Right.
The tire guy joke and some other ones. When Tim is kind of trying to dance through the book as an expert and he's not. I think that works. And sometimes Lowe's. Yeah, I don't. I mean, why is it wrapped up so quickly? I don't know that they addressed really any issues here. Jill, I don't know. I feel like Jill wasn't really very understanding of her husband and what was actually happening there. We didn't get the same thing with Rondell where Chris is actually trying to get in to Jill's pants or anything like that. I don't see that here.
Yeah, I guess it's up for debate. I definitely felt like he was sort of seedy, but...
Yeah, he seems seedy, but he's going to be in Jill's class later. He said, "See you next class or something."
Yeah, he's not going anywhere.
Yeah, so we're gonna have to deal with him later, maybe. Madam, I mean, there was a Madame Bovary joke. I think you knew that was coming right away as soon as they mentioned Madame Bovary. So I don't know, uneven, like you said, not bad, not great, definitely watchable. I did think they did like a good, like I think they did a good job of having all the guys ribbing on Tim, and then Wilson also giving kind of advice that would steer Tim in the wrong direction, so that kind of built it up naturally.
Yeah.
So that was good, I guess. And yeah, what about you? What's a nickel for your thoughts, Adam?
Nickel for my thoughts. Yeah, I mean, I echo a lot of what you said. I think it's pretty uneven. I didn't mind watching it. I kind of feel like this one's pretty forgettable ultimately. There are some jokes that kind of make you laugh, but yeah, it's just kind of one of those like 22-minute conflicts where, like, I don't know, she didn't really give him the time of day, which I don't know. I guess we see that a lot, but it all felt so rushed, as you said. Like get to the end of the episode and, like, I don't know, it kind of felt like it just felt very sitcom-y to me because it was, I mean, not a sitcom, but I don't know, just like nothing was developed as much as I thought maybe it should have been. And hey, it's Home Improvement, what do I expect? But like, just the ending was so sort of like, well, I guess we love each other, we're soulmates. Like, I don't know, she was kind of lousy to him and didn't really listen. And yeah, but there were some laughs. I don't know. I don't really have strong feelings, I guess. Like, it's fine to me.
Yeah, I agree. So we've definitely had much worse, and we've had better. So that's where we're at. That's where we're at on this one.
That is average.
That is average. You know what's not average?
What's that?
Our social media game.
So
let's move over to Sean's social media corner. If you'd like to reach out to us, thehomeimpodcast.com. We're on Twitter at Home Impodcast, Facebook.com/Home Impodcast. Obviously, everyone knows by now the big changes on Patreon. We have just released the full For Richer or Poorer episode on Patreon. You know, the preview you guys heard, it's funny. So you should pay us $5 a month and you'll get episodes like that every single month, plus bonus outtakes, script notes, all that kind of stuff. We're posted on there. So, Adam, well, I guess I should say make sure you go to patreon.com/Home Impodcast for that content. Adam, what's going on Twitter?
And the poll this week, well, we're recording this in advance, but the poll that I'm going to talk about is 15 total votes. We had 60 a couple weeks ago. What happened? Have you ever been to northern Michigan? This is relating to a few episodes ago when the Taylors take Travers. Jordan, this is a close one. 47% say no, they haven't. 53% say they have. Wow.
What do you make of that?
Don't make much of it. I think I didn't have a good poll. That's what I make of it. I don't know. Otherwise,
I know we'll have a poll soon about Spider-Man, so.
Oh, that would have been good. Yeah, you give me an idea. You know, I've been tweeting about Patreon. Like, it would be great if people supported that. We are going to be doing our next episode. Jordan and I have not talked about this, but I think to maintain a sense of what's the word? I'm blanking.
What is the word?
We want to keep
consistency.
We want to keep it fresh, so that wasn't the word. But I think we'll do the Last Man Standing, whatever they're calling it, the new one that's coming to Fox. We're going to do that episode instead of the pilot. Why not?
Okay.
Yeah.
Why not?
Just decided.
The reboot. The reboot.
Is that what they're calling it, though? Is it a reboot?
I don't know. They're probably just calling it Season 6 or whatever.
Well, we're doing the newest episode of Last Man Standing. Also tweeted a lot about the T-shirts. You know, there's some stuff there if you want to buy a T-shirt.
Stickers.
There's some fun facts about the T-shirts specifically, so all of them are true. Otherwise, yeah.
There is some good facts on there.
Yeah, there's some. Yeah, you probably didn't know some of that stuff, but it's.
No, I learned a lot. One thing I will say is if you follow the Home Impodcast Twitter feed, you will learn a lot about just various movies and how it relates to Home Impodcast in ways that you would never imagine.
Yeah, it's really interesting and just fun.
All true.
Fun for everybody. Brad did an interview with Modern Consensus magazine about Bitcoin, so if we could just change the title to Home in Bitcoin, I think we could get him.
Yeah, I think I floated out CryptoCast. I think we can get there.
Yeah. I think so. So we're getting close. Tell him you want to hear him on the show. I think I might do it.
I mean, I own a little bit of Bitcoin, so what else does he need?
Do you really?
a very small amount.
Oh man, we gotta talk about that after. Jordan, I think we're gonna rip open the mailbag, isn't that right?
Yeah,
or do you
let's
want to talk
tear it
about
open.
Facebook or other social media first?
No, that's all right. Let's open the mailbag.
All right.
You've got mail.
All right, we have twice we've been opening the mailbag this season. That's a new record, I think, perhaps. And so
Yeah, for sure.
So this one has a little bit different of a tone, written by Kevin.
Positive, I think.
Positive.
Yeah.
A little bit shorter as well, so I can probably just read it in full. It's got some interesting tidbits. So it starts out, "Hi guys, just wanted to say great job on getting Carmen Finestra on the show." I agree, it was a great job. Good
Big
job.
fish, man. We landed him.
Good job,
we landed
Adam.
him. Yeah.
That was all you. It was very interesting. I still wish we could find out more what happened to the set. I was able to establish an email friendship with a guy who was a camera operator on seasons 1 through 5, and he told me many interesting trivia facts about the show, including the set was torn down after each season and rebuilt again each year. Seems like a little bit too much work to me to do that, but that's what he says.
Yeah, I guess they do that. I don't know why. Yeah, it seems like you could just... Maybe it's a space thing. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe they're just reusing those lots for other shows. I don't know. Whatever. The floor of the other interesting fact is the floor of the studio had a crawl space under it, and it was wooden.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense because we do see a lot of stuff go... Like, shockingly, there's a lot of stuff going like in and out of that floor.
It's basically...
If you really think about it.
Yeah, there is. It's basically like the Magic Kingdom. It's built on floor number... Or, like, second level. You know?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, basically the whole Magic Kingdom, underneath it, there's a whole system.
Disney's the Magic Kingdom?
Yeah, there's a whole system of tunnels.
I heard about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you just said you didn't know.
I didn't. I wasn't. Maybe I wasn't listening. So okay, I get it. Interesting. Wow.
All right, so I'm gonna finish the email
Yeah,
while you
do it.
try to digest that information.
Yeah.
All right, so he is a really cool guy and currently works on the Last Man Standing show. He has behind-the-scenes home improvement video on YouTube, and I contacted him via the comments on there. So that's how the friendship started up. Maybe we should get this guy.
I'm thinking that too. That he might have some interesting things to say.
He probably does. Anyway, keep up the great work. Thank you, Kevin Tolman. Thank you, Kevin Tolman, for writing in.
Hey, Kevin. Adam here. We could maybe we could bring this guy in for an interview. Maybe you want to try to hook that up for us. That would be helpful because it sounds like you might have some tasty nuggets for us, and we like to do those kind of things. So get at us, please.
Please, Kevin. No, he already has. Maybe we can just get back at him again.
Yeah, well, somebody's going to get at somebody, and it's going to all work out. But that's a nice message. We like to get those kind of messages, so it's nice.
That's right. So Thank you, Kevin. If you'd like to reach out to us, you can do so at all those different areas that we were talking about earlier. Also, our email is homeimpodcast@gmail.com. So, with that being out of the way, it's time for the question of the week. I have no idea whose turn it is because we've been jumping back and forth.
Yeah.
You already talked about cards, so we can't go there.
Don't go there. No.
Don't go there, girlfriend. Adam.
Jordan.
It's almost like we just continue talking the whole time. Hey, what's up, man? What if we just recorded our episodes in segments and just spliced it all together? That would be rough.
Might be easier.
Might be easier. This week, my question for you is about books and book clubs. My question is, have you ever participated in a book club? What was it like? What did you enjoy? What didn't you enjoy? It's a lot of questions. You can just answer the first one.
I don't think that I have, but
you're open to it. It sounds like.
Shut up! I'm not. No, I don't think that I have. But Jordan, I don't know if you know this, but I do have my master's degree in English, film and literature. So I guess I say this with seriousness, but I was in some workshop kind of classes, and a lot of those grad school classes are sort of a book a week kind of discussion. So I feel as though that's a comparable sort of surrogate. I was in a class called film. I guess it was called Film as Literature, and that was, I think, near the end. And that was, you watch a movie and you read a book a week and you sort of compare and contrast. And then I did some. I'm trying to think, what was the class called? American Literature of the 1700s. And, a lot of those kind of classes where you're reading a book a week and you're discussing in a grad school format. So, I guess it does appeal to me. I guess the problem is I don't want to be on the hook for it. Like, I don't want people to kind of, like, expect me to show up and talk if I don't. I want flexibility I want flexibility to the max.
Yeah. You'd like people to be available to talk about books when you're available and feel like talking about books.
If I could also say, I recently watched the movie Book Club, which is a movie with Candice Bergen, Diane Keaton, Jane Fonda, and Ted Danson's wife, whose name I can't think of, and they read 50 Shades of Grey. It's a bad movie, Jordan, so if you're thinking about watching it, your wife wants to watch it, don't even worry about it. It's like, it's probably like Going in Style was. I know you saw that one.
Ooh, rough.
But, yeah, I feel like it's along the same lines. It's not very good. It made me not want to join a book club, frankly. So maybe I won't pursue it after that.
So that's why you want flexibility. Yeah. So your film is literature class.
Yeah.
Did you have like a theme of different movies that you went through, or was it just kind of like the classics, or what?
It was professor's choice, I would say. I don't remember. I mean, he probably was trying to say that there was some kind of an outline, or he was using a roadmap, but he was a great professor, but there was a lot of carryover between semesters. So, like, for instance, in grad school, I watched Citizen Kane like 3 times. I had this guy for like 3 or 4 different classes, and he would show Citizen Kane every semester. Great professor. I respect him a lot. There's no way he's going to listen, so it doesn't matter. But so, like, there would probably be ones that he had prepared notes on and lessons on. But no, I don't remember a specific theme. I'm trying to remember what we did. Magnificent Ambersons, Wise Blood. I'm trying to think of what was maybe a more contemporary thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nothing real contemporary comes to... Brokeback Mountain. That was a good one. That's based on like a New York Times short story. And I really like that movie. So that's probably the newest one we watched. But it was a great class, and I love that professor. So.
That's interesting. Because one of the ones that came to mind for me is I had a class similar in college, but it was dystopian
sure. Yeah.
Books and film. And so we would read and then read the book and then watch the films as well. So we did like Terminator, we did Surrogates, we did like...
Bad movie, Surrogates.
Yeah. Bicentennial Man, Wall-E.
Yeah.
We read Frankenstein, The Island of Dr. Moreau. So a lot of stuff I really like.
Frankenstein is one we did as well. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a good
The
classic
Island of
one.
Dr. Moreau, that's bad too. A lot of bad movies.
I don't know if we watched the movie for that one. I think we might have just read the book. You
probably didn't, because I think that movie's almost so bad that it's hard to understand.
It's pretty terrible.
Yeah,
I've seen it before, because I read the book and I was like, oh, I'm excited to see the movie. It was
Marlon Brando, awesome.
No.
Yeah.
I love that class. So that was one. And then I also was in charge of a Harry Potter book club that was at a previous
you're going
work.
to bat for her all the time.
Yeah, right. I handed out house points, did trivia, all that stuff. I even had a Jeopardy trivia game. So it was really just combining all of my passions, Harry Potter and Jeopardy. I mean,
wow, yeah.
What else could you love more?
I just can't wait for Home Impodcast Book Club, wherein we discuss Don't Stand Too Close to a Naked Man.
Maybe
we'll...
The
other one where it gets philosophical in the Mark book.
Maybe we'll just, departure completely away from home improvement and just read books we want to read.
Al's probably written some books, Richard Karn. The Karn man's, he's got a couple books.
I'd say.
Yeah. All right, Jordan, what are we covering next week?
Jill's surprise party. We haven't gone to that well before.
I was going to say, this sounds very familiar. Boy, I wonder what will happen.
It'll be a surprise.
Some turmoil. All right, well, Jordan, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Listeners, thank you for listening. And I guess I should say... Oh, man, I was so close. I guess I should say take care.
Take care, everybody.